Of homeless people who are suing the city.
Homeless encampments on wheels.
Time is running out for homeless people camping or parking.
Stop the criminalization of homelessness.
Dozens of people living in RVs by the San Francisco Zoo say they have nowhere else to go.
I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what we're going to do.
RVing isn't what it used to be. Campsites that were once easy to book, gone. Free parking, vanishing. And the open road, more crowded than ever. So what's really happening? And more importantly, how do you stay ahead of it? Today, we're diving into the rise of full-time homeless RVers and how it's reshaping camping as we know it. Let's get rolling. The American RV lifestyle is experiencing a remarkable transformation, driven by both necessity and choice. A striking statistic reveals that 3.1 million Americans now call RVs, vans, or other motorized vehicles their permanent home, representing a 63% surge in recent years. This shift reflects broader societal challenges, particularly the mounting pressures of housing affordability and economic uncertainty.
Collection of RVs parked along South Park Plaza Drive. Officials say this is an example of a growing problem with homelessness here in San Mateo County.
The full-time RV community represents a diverse tapestry of American life. While some residents have turned to RV living following housing losses, others have deliberately chosen this path, attracted by the promise of minimalism and mobility. However, this growing movement faces increasing challenges as cities implement stricter regulations on vehicle dwelling, forcing many to seek alternatives in campgrounds or remote public lands.
It's everywhere on Longmont streets, but it's not people camping, it's people living. And now the city's trying to do something to get these homes on wheels to move along.
But as Denver 7's Jason Grinauer found out, tonight the problem is, move along to where?
Meanwhile, the traditional RV industry continues to evolve. Market projections for 2024 anticipate wholesale shipments of 324,100 units, with potential growth into the mid-300,000 range by 2025. Yet the industry navigates headwinds from high interest rates and shifting consumer preferences. This confluence of trends marks a pivotal moment in American housing culture. The rise in full-time RV living isn't merely a temporary shift, but potentially signals a deeper transformation in how Americans view home and mobility. As traditional housing becomes increasingly unattainable for many, RV living represents both a practical solution and a lifestyle choice, challenging conventional notions of home ownership and community.
RV businesses in the Springs starting to see a big increase in both sales of new RVs on top of maintenance calls for those who already own one.
The future of RV living in America stands at a crossroads, balancing the needs of a growing full-time community with industry dynamics and municipal regulations, all while redefining what it means to call a home on wheels. The American dream of hitting the open road in an RV is changing as more people make these vehicles their permanent homes. This shift is creating unexpected challenges for traditional campers looking to enjoy a weekend getaway or vacation.
Number of RVs on the road. There's been an increase in RV sales during the pandemic. Idaho News 6's Steve Dent shares how RVs give people a safe way to get outside during the pandemic.
The numbers are eye-opening. While 57 million households went camping in 2023, about 3.1 million people now live in their RVs full-time. This surge has transformed campgrounds from vacation spots into something closer to mobile neighborhoods, with long-term residents occupying spaces once reserved for travelers. Gone are the days when you could simply drive up to a campground and find a spot. Most sites now operate at full capacity, requiring bookings months in advance.
Manager Mark Napodi says reservations for camping are booked about a month in advance.
We're experiencing record-breaking visitation and revenue right now.
The costs have also soared. Premium locations that once charged moderate fees now demand $80 to $150 per night, while even basic campgrounds have increased rates well beyond the previous $30 to $50 range.
Park proposing a $10 increase to overnight fees at all 4 of their campgrounds that require reservations. This would be for next year. There's also an additional $10 increase proposed for new electrical sites.
Some campgrounds have had to close entirely, overwhelmed by constant use and maintenance needs.
For dozens living in an RV park in Fremont County, as we told you last month, the park's owners had trouble paying the power bill, made more expensive, they say, by bringing in homeless from the community.
For weekend campers and vacation travelers, this means more careful planning and bigger budgets. The spontaneous nature of RV travel is fading as campgrounds fill up with long-term residents. This transformation reflects a larger trend in American life, where RVs have become more than just vacation vehicles. They're now a housing solution in a challenging real estate market. Free camping spots, known as boondocking sites, are facing growing pressure as more people turn to RVs for permanent housing. These undeveloped areas, traditionally used for short wilderness stays, are struggling to handle increased long-term use.
Now to an Eyewitness News investigation into what's essentially becoming homeless encampments on wheels. So-called van lords are renting out RVs to people who are now using them as their permanent residence.
The issue is more complex than just crowded campsites. With more people living full-time in these areas, basic environmental concerns like waste management have become serious challenges. The Dixie National Forest, for example, has raised alarms about proper human waste disposal, as improper practices can contaminate local water sources.
Illegal RV park full of people who used to be homeless.
The neighbors are outraged at the sight of it and the smell of it too, coming from raw sewage dumped in the yard and on the street.
The situation has pushed land management agencies to take action. Take the Bridger-Teton National Forest, which now limits camping to 14 days within any 30-day period. Campers must move at least 5 air miles away after reaching this limit. These rules aim to prevent indefinite occupation while keeping these spaces available for all outdoor enthusiasts. The changes reflect a delicate balance between two pressing needs: providing options for those facing housing challenges and protecting natural areas for future generations. Long-term camping in these undeveloped sites can harm local ecosystems through soil compaction, vegetation damage, and wildlife disruption. The situation highlights a broader social challenge. As housing becomes less affordable, more people are turning to alternative living arrangements, including RV life.
That has come in many ways to symbolize the Bay Area's growing housing crisis. This crisis only worsened through the pandemic. RV after RV, car after car, parked here because people have nowhere else to go.
While public lands offer a temporary solution for some, the increasing pressure on these natural spaces calls for thoughtful solutions that address both housing needs and environmental preservation. Finding a spot to park an RV overnight is becoming increasingly challenging as both businesses and cities tighten their rules in response to the rise in full-time RV living.
Today, the city of Berkeley may officially ban RVs and campers from parking overnight.
Many RV travelers have traditionally relied on the hospitality of retailers like Walmart, Cracker Barrel, and Cabela's for occasional overnight stays. However, as more people use these spaces for extended periods, many stores are changing their policies. While Walmart's corporate policy still allows overnight parking,
San Francisco's latest effort to deter homelessness could include new restrictions on recreational vehicles. And as ABC 7 News reporter Tara Campbell reports, that proposal takes aim at overnight parking.
individual store managers now often restrict it based on local rules or past problems. Cities are also cracking down with stricter regulations. For example, San Francisco now bans RVs and trailers from parking on certain streets between midnight and 6 a.m., with the risk of towing for those who don't comply.
RV ban in effect in San Francisco, and residents who refuse to accept shelter from the city, well, they can have their RVs towed. KRON 4's Leslie Gooden has details.
In Fremont, larger vehicles are prohibited from parking on busy residential streets, and a 72-hour rule requires vehicles to move at least 1,000 feet after 3 days in one spot.
It's a ban on long-term RV parking on city streets. The city council voted unanimously this week to prohibit RVs from parking in any one spot for longer than 72 hours.
These changes hit RV travelers hard, especially in urban areas. With fewer free parking options available, many must rely on campgrounds or RV parks, which can be expensive and often require advance reservations. The days of easily finding a free spot to spend the night are becoming a thing of the past.
Anyone parking an RV overnight will need a permit at a cost of $2 a night.
For RV owners, this means more careful trip planning and staying up to date with local parking rules. The changing landscape reflects growing tensions between traditional RV travel and the increasing use of RVs as permanent housing. RV travel has long been considered a safe way to explore, but recent changes in camping culture have brought new safety considerations to light. As more people make RVs their permanent homes, some areas have seen increased reports of theft, vandalism, and conflicts. In fact, about 10% of RVers have needed to contact law enforcement during their travels.
Stealing a camper from Camping World.
Yeah, this is an odd story. The family who owns the stolen property is looking now for answers tonight as to why the company is not being held responsible.
Fortunately, There are simple steps you can take to keep your RV adventures safe and enjoyable. Start by choosing reputable campgrounds with good security measures. A quick online search of reviews can help you spot the best options. Always lock up when you're away and keep valuables out of sight. Planning ahead makes a big difference. Use RV-specific GPS tools to stick to suitable roads and keep your vehicle well maintained to avoid breaking down in unfamiliar places. Consider joining RV communities online or at campgrounds. Fellow travelers often share valuable safety tips and look out for each other. Don't forget the basics of emergency preparedness. Pack a good first aid kit, keep emergency tools handy, and make sure you have reliable ways to communicate if you need help. It's also smart to save local emergency numbers wherever you're staying. While these safety concerns shouldn't discourage you from RVing, being aware and prepared helps ensure a smoother journey. The RV community remains strong and supportive, and most travelers report positive experiences when they take these simple precautions. The RV lifestyle stands at a turning point as growing numbers of Americans embrace mobile living, forcing communities and campgrounds to adapt to this new reality. Campgrounds are already changing their rules to handle increased demand. Some have added stay limits to keep spaces available for travelers, while others are adapting to long-term residents. The Navy, for example, now allows active duty service members extended stays at RV parks during their assignments, showing how institutions are adjusting to this trend. Cities are also responding to the surge in RV living. Los Angeles recently passed a bill to help address RV parking challenges by leasing state property for RV storage, aiming to help residents transition to permanent housing. These kinds of policies could push RV dwellers to seek new locations, potentially creating new challenges around land use. Meanwhile, younger generations are increasingly drawn to RV life. The RV Industry Association reports more families with young children are buying RVs, attracted by the freedom of a mobile lifestyle. But this growth brings questions about sustainability and environmental impact. The future of RV living likely depends on finding balance. This means developing better ways to handle increased demand at campgrounds, managing environmental impacts through technologies like solar power, and creating policies that work for both full-time RV residents and vacation travelers. Success will require cooperation between RV enthusiasts, campground operators, and local governments to create solutions that preserve the appeal of RV living while addressing community concerns. RVing isn't just about the road, it's about the community, and right now things are changing fast. What's your biggest frustration? More rules? Higher costs? Fewer places to stay? Drop a comment below. We want to hear from you. And if you're looking for the best hidden camping spots before they disappear, click here to watch our next video. Happy travels, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.